Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, donation rejected. A city council candidate returns large donations made by the Ryan family to her campaign. We tell you why.
Time ticking out. We look into how a potential congressional TikTok ban would impact the Northwestern community.
And finally, honoring Ramadan. We go behind the scenes on how students are observing the holiday.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Logan Schijano.
And I'm Bridget Aduwadier. Let's get right into tonight's stories. It's election day in Evanston and Chicago. Here's a quick rundown of the candidates. The Chicago mayoral runoff is underway tonight with Paul Vallis facing Brandon Johnson in a tight battle. Stay tuned for NNN's Politicat next week for a breakdown of this election. And here in Evanston, council seats are up for grabs in the 2nd and 9th wards. In the 2nd ward, incumbent Chrissy Harris faces opponents Darlene Cannon and Patricia Gregory. And in the 9th ward, incumbent Juan Herrecares faces Kathy Hayes.
And with polls closing a few minutes ago here in Evanston, people in the 9th ward will find out who will represent them on city council for the next 2 years. As Evanston grapples with national issues like affordability and abortion and local debates over zoning and a new football stadium, I spent some time with both candidates in the 9th ward to learn more about what each of them feels sets them apart in this race.
I'm going to vote for you because you're the only person in life that answers the phone when I call.
Juan Herrecares is all about building relationships.
I come from a community organizer background, so I have more like personal connections.
He's hoping those connections are enough to keep his spot on Evanston City Council.
I think I'm someone who works on big, large-scale problems and also, doesn't forget about the small things.
The 9th ward is in South Evanston and almost all residential. When its former council member Cicely Fleming stepped down last February, Herrecares was appointed by Mayor Daniel Biss, becoming the first Latino to sit on city council.
If we lose Councilmember Herrecares on the dais, we are going to lose representation to a whole population of people.
Clerk Mendoza endorsed Herrecares this election, and so did Mayor Biss.
He's moved forward some important initiatives related to women's reproductive rights, related to political reform and ranked choice voting.
Herrecares graduated from Northwestern and works full-time here at the Kellogg School as a senior network systems engineer. But for this reason, he recuses himself from votes related to Northwestern, including plans for the new Ryan Field. This is a concern for his opponent, Kathy Hayes.
I'm for Evanstonians being able to get the best deal possible. And for us not to have a voice at the table is kind of a loss.
Hayes made a final push to voters over the weekend.
She has stated clearly that she's a champion of small business, and I've been very disappointed in what I've been hearing out of Juan.
58% of the ward's population is low income, much higher than the city's 43%. Hayes says she's prepared to tackle the issue of affordability.
As a frontline worker with Cook County Hospital, I understand the urgency.
And if she wins, Hayes says the first thing she'll do is thank the people who made it happen.
I will follow my constituents' lead because they're my boss.
And we should note that both Herrecares and Mayor Biss downplayed the concern that Herrecares has to recuse himself from Northwestern-related votes. Biss told me that recusals are nothing new on City Council, and that he says it would be concerning if a candidate never had to recuse themselves because it would mean they have no connections to any important stakeholders in the community.
And we finally know who is actually going to rebuild Ryan Field. Turner Walsh Construction will lead the building of the new stadium, Northwestern announced last week. The university promising to allot 35% of its spending on subcontractors to local minority and women-owned businesses. To help the construction company connect to those subcontractors, Northwestern will host a community outreach session at 10 a.m. tomorrow in Welsh Ryan Arena. The Ryan family plans to fund about 60% of the $800 million football stadium, but the project is receiving mixed reactions from Evanston City Council and residents. NNN's Vanessa Kelson is outside of Ryan Field with us now to tell us more about how one second ward candidate returned money from the Ryan family that she said she never asked for.
Vote for Chrissy.
Chrissy Harris, a fifth-generation Evanstonian running to keep her seat in the second ward, is receiving support she says she never asked for.
Why all of a sudden I'm getting these large donations that everybody can see? It kind of feels like a setup. From where, I don't know.
The Ryans are Northwestern University's biggest donors. A few weeks ago, the family's affiliates started donating to Harris's campaign.
They want somebody on the council who is going to go along with their plans for the Ryan Field expansion.
When there was just 2 weeks left, Harris's campaign started seeing money fly in. First, $6,000 donated from a woman in New York married to a Ryan family member. Then another $6,000 from the chief marketing officer of Ryan Specialty. Then Harris tells me she received another $6,000 also from a Ryan affiliate.
That was like $18,000. I'm like, whoa.
Harris says she never solicited the donations, nor does she even know the Ryan family.
They're above my pay grade.
But she says it doesn't matter who the money is from.
It didn't matter if it came from Santa Claus. I didn't need $6,000. I was going to return it to Santa Claus.
And returned all of the money.
We may vote yes on Ryan and we may vote no. And I don't want somebody to feel like, oh, we gave you that money.
But some say it wasn't fast enough.
I think someone who really had an ethical view of this campaign would have returned them automatically even before it was exposed.
Leslie Williams from the Community Alliance for Better Government, whose organization helped bring attention to the donations, says Harris's team should have been aware of the large donations immediately.
I lived in Chicago for many years under the Daley administration, and it feels sadly very familiar to that.
Meanwhile, Harris says she was hospitalized when these donations came in, delaying her refunds by about a week.
It's not worth nobody's integrity.
The Ryan family affiliated donors did not respond to any requests for comment.
Thanks, Vanessa, for that reporting. Ryan affiliates are not alone in supporting Harris. She also received support from Mayor Daniel Biss and former Mayor Steve Haggerty.
Shifting to another development in Evanston, the city releasing a draft of its Evanston Thrives Retail Action Plan. This comes after 9 months of research done by a locally based consulting group called All Together. The plan calls for the revitalization of 5 major areas around Evanston, with a particular focus on the downtown and Central Street corridors. The city says the first step to economic success involves convincing its residents that downtown Evanston is not dead, just in need of a revival. Evanston also plans to provide more data to business owners to target the Evanston community. This is the first public draft of the plan. You can check the City of Evanston website to view the executive summary and comment. And coming up, changing summer plans, why Northwestern is canceling its summer research assistant program.
And filtering out fear. We dive into why the dorm water fountain lights are red after this break.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. NU's Office of Undergraduate Research is canceling this year's Summer Undergraduate Research Assistant Program, or URAP, last week. NNN's Lance Willem takes a look at what went into this decision.
Summer URAP is a program that supports students each year to do research alongside a professor. Some students had begun planning their summer around potentially being involved in the program before the cancellation announcement.
My advisor said, it's okay if you don't get it done, we have backups, and definitely URAP will be a very safe option.
The program was canceled because of a surge in applications to the Summer Undergraduate Research Grant Program, or URG, which is funded by the same department as URAP. Summer URG, which offers grants to students to pursue independent research, saw 480 applicants, a 42% increase from last year.
On the night of the deadline, I was at home and I was kept refreshing my screen being oh my God, we might actually get to 400, which was a number we had never gotten near before. And then all of a sudden I'm oh, it is still going.
The Department of Undergraduate Research has a total of $1.5 million between all of its programs to give to students. URAP, which was not yet accepting applications, was canceled to fulfill Summer URG's cap-free promise on the number of accepted applicants.
If all of a sudden we said, here's a cap, that seemed inherently unfair.
And the expansion of Summer URG has allowed students like School of Communications second year Sam Hernandez to pursue a wide range of ideas, from lab work and music composition to multimedia projects.
I hope to travel to Madrid.
The Office of Undergraduate Research is working with students who are hoping to apply to URAP, find last-minute summer opportunities. But some students are still worried.
By the time we find out, we might not be able to do anything this summer.
Lance is with us now to tell us more. Lance, a lot of people are concerned about whether or not URAP will be able to return in future years. What did the office have to say?
Right, so what they told me was they really could not imagine a future at Northwestern without URAP. And Peter, the director of undergraduate research, said that there's still plenty of interest from admin and faculty, and in terms of next year, Bridget, anything is still on the table.
Thanks, Lance. You can contact the Department of Undergraduate Research if you're still looking for opportunities.
So the social media app TikTok, you've probably heard of it, is making headlines over the last couple weeks as Congress discusses a potential ban on U.S. downloads of the Chinese-owned app. One of their major concerns, the app's impact on teens and college students. NNN's Vicky Chung has more on how it impacts Northwestern.
TikTok, an app that has 750 million users worldwide.
According to a study conducted by Best Colleges in March of 2023, 40% of American undergraduate students use TikTok more than Google, 34% use it as their primary news source, and 59% said that they would be angered by the TikTok ban.
It's kind of like taking all the vegetables and meat out of your diet and just giving you sugar.
Because of the addictive nature of the app, many students find themselves in a cycle of excessive scrolling.
Sometimes I'll be on my laptop and writing something, and then 30 seconds later I find myself scrolling on my phone and I don't even remember how I got there.
Some experts, like Professor Bernholtz, say balance may be the solution to anxieties surrounding TikTok.
We should critically consume all of the media in our lives, but that doesn't mean we should ban it.
In fact, TikTok seems to be a way for students to engage with a variety of different experiences they otherwise would not be exposed to.
There are other pieces of information that I feel I learned because so many different kinds of people share their different expertise.
And research has begun working on the possibilities of using spaces like TikTok for good. Feinberg Assistant Professor Ashley Knapp sees TikTok as a possible digital tool to create more accessibility to literature and to ultimately combat issues such as anxiety and depression.
To focus on how can we use this for the good, because it's not going away.
TikTok, sparking new conversations about students' relationships with social media. Vicky Chung, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Vicky, for that. Some colleges have banned TikTok on their schools' networks, but Northwestern has not taken any action against the app.
In every Northwestern dorm on campus, students have access to a water bottle filler. The fillers have indicator lights showing green, yellow, or red for their status. NNN's Alicia Tang takes a look at what a fountain's red light means.
In some dorms, the filter light on water fountains staying red since the beginning of the school year.
All of them are red, and they even use stickers to cover them up sometimes, so you have to peel them to see if it's actually green or not.
Some students are going out of their ways to look for green filter lights like this one.
I literally climb up 4 flights of stairs so I could get a green filtered water.
Facility says the red filter light is not a cause for concern.
We do regular testing of the water at the filter stations, and
The red light is really misleading.
McKinney says all indicator lights turn red after a number of years, but the filter is still removing anything harmful from the water.
The carbon filters do take out chlorine from the water, and that's probably the most perceptible thing regarding taste. As the filters do age, they do remove less chlorine.
Now, McKinney says facilities is converting to a new filter technology which removes bacteria, metals, and chlorine.
The easiest way to know which filters have already been retrofitted would be to look for the QR code.
But for now, the taste is causing some students to use their own water filters.
It's just a lot more hassle to have to fill the Brita, then pour it into a water bottle.
Facilities with the green light to drink. Alicia Tang, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Alicia. I hope the students' thirst for answers has been quenched.
Me too. Well, the city of Evanston began a 2-year project to replace the aging intake pipe at its Lake Michigan water plant last week. The plant is located at the northeast end of Northwestern's campus. Minimal disruption is expected to occur as most of the work will be done in the lake. Some work will be done on shore. Most of the construction will be conducted from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. The pipe being replaced provides drinking water to 10 suburban communities and nearly 500,000 people. Signs will be posted to help direct traffic as construction on this project continues over the next 2 years.
Northwestern students are joining the approximately 1.9 billion Muslims worldwide in celebrating Ramadan. NNN's Isabella Lisco spoke with students at evening prayers Wednesday night.
Ramadan is one of the ways to build the strongest community ever.
Building community through a daily struggle. Fasting from sunrise to sunset to observe the month the Prophet Muhammad received the revelation of the Quran. This fasting focuses on personal goals.
A very individual, spiritual engagement that you do with yourself for your own wellness.
And fostering empathy for people less fortunate.
Privilege. Where am I in the world when it comes to every single day being able to have a meal? And then there's so many people in the world who do not.
When the fast is broken, the evening is devoted to scripture, prayer, and of course,
community. If you just saw what happened inside, everyone comes together at night to pray together.
Some Muslim students asking Northwestern for more support for their community on campus.
If we could get either one, a more formal way of engaging with Islam through the university, like a Muslim Life Center or a masjid on campus, that would be really amazing.
Ahmed looking to other religious spaces as examples.
What would be a more sustained model, similar to some of the centers on campus as Hillel or Shiel? I see that as the future at Northwestern.
A place to
see everyone free themselves from that struggle all at the same time together.
A hunger for community during the month of fasting. Isabella Lisco, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Isabella. Additional Ramadan events can be found on the MCSA Instagram.
Coming up, Finding Art's Home. We show you a new exhibit in Ditmar Gallery.
And Planting with a Purpose. How a local Evanston organization jumps into spring with a local seed swap. After the break.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. Some good news coming in this afternoon after a warning that the union representing drivers of NU shuttles was preparing for a potential strike as early as tomorrow. Northwestern saying in an email today that a tentative deal has been reached and no disruptions to shuttle services are expected. The shuttle company We Drive You confirmed this in an email to NNN.
And bringing it home, Northwestern's Ditmar Gallery opening their new exhibit When Homeward You Turn on Friday. It gives artists the space to express their concept of home. NNN's Raj Ganetkar takes us closer to the crafts showing home is more than just a building.
Sculptures, paintings, and ceramics glimmer through Ditmar Gallery, showing home is not a monolith.
There are pieces about home being painful, there are pieces about home being joyful, there are pieces about home being everything in between.
Artist Priscilla Ambrosi says her art gives her comfort and strength.
It's a very freeing experience. So having the art for me is a safe space to make mistakes and like see something cool come out.
Ambrosi immigrated to the U.S. from Brazil in 2014 to pursue her first graduate degree. She says she learned about her idea of home through her sculpture.
Home is the place that I feel that I can be myself. And this piece specifically, it's a lot of, when I was making it, it was a lot of coming to terms with patterns in my life.
Abby Starr, a Skokie-based artist, says her piece, By the River, exhibits how her home is the outdoors.
Being out in the woods, out in the open air, just hearing nature is peaceful.
The art gives a glimpse into the heart and soul of its composers. Raj Ganetkar, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Raj. You can visit the exhibit in Norris until the end of this month.
Spring has sprung, and along with it, growing season. NNN's Sabrina Carson takes us into the weeds of how some Evanston groups are supporting nearby gardeners.
As warm weather approaches, community group Edible Evanston welcomes this budding period with their 10th annual plant and seed swap.
People are coming to get seeds, but they're learning about seeds.
A small group of gardeners, Edible Evanston shares their mission to
grow and share food and educate people in the community.
Ken Castman, co-leader of Edible Evanston, helps to organize events like the seed swap and other hands-on programming. Offering a food forest and community gardening plots, the group seeks to create a healthier, more resilient way to grow.
If you're growing your own food, you're not relying on someone else or the grocery store to have something that you want.
This event, hosted with the Robert Crown Branch Library, helps to make gardening more accessible.
It seemed like momentum was growing for people to grow food at home, and I thought the library could help.
Kelly Fleming, Library Branch Assistant, hosts this event through the Library Huga series. Robert Crown Library also supplies a small seed library which distributes free seeds to the community.
You just come and grab the seeds as you can, whatever strikes your fancy.
Residents like Yvette Jordan Granberry feel supported by the financial accessibility the swap provides.
Seeds can cost a fair amount of money. You look at some of these packets, they're $2 and $3 a packet.
A growing community in both people and plant life. Sabrina Carson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Sabrina, and thankfully there will be another plant and seed swap this summer. I'll have to go check that out.
And staying on the topic of greens, many Earth Month events are sprouting up all over Evanston this April. Natural Habitat Evanston will be hosting a series of plantings throughout the month. These events are open to all, and you can sign up using the QR code below. Focusing on planting native trees in Evanston schools and Fifth Ward neighborhoods, the organization hopes to help Evanston develop its tree canopy and make a green difference.
It may not make a difference for, the globe, but it can make a difference for these 3 pollinators that are able to find, a redbud tree that didn't find one last year.
And other Evanston organizations will have events later on in the month around Earth Day weekend.
Speaking of the environment, we turn to the weather in Evanston, which has been pretty crazy lately. Sabrina Carson is here in studio. Sabrina?
Happy spring quarter, Northwestern. Today's weather might have been a little rainy and cold, but get ready for some long overdue warm weather. Tomorrow, expect some showers and wind gusts of up to 22 miles per hour, but despite the rain, the temperature high will still be around 68 degrees during the day. Later this Thursday, the high will drop down to 52 degrees and should remain sunny all day long with a small 1% chance of rain throughout the day. The rest of the week should progressively warm up from a high of 46 on Friday to 57 degrees on Saturday and back into the 60s with a high of 63 degrees on Sunday. Overall, this week should be relatively warm and, though stormy tomorrow, should clear up for the remainder of the week. Enjoy the non-winter coat weather and the beginning of a great quarter to come. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Sabrina. Coming up, stats on your soulmate. NNN's Max Rothfeder has the details on this year's Marriage Pact participants.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. We bring you our weekly segment, Under the Microscope, to give you the latest scientific discoveries from Northwestern. Clearing the cosmos. Northwestern researchers have developed an AI-driven algorithm to unblur images of celestial objects, leading to better cosmological data and measurements. Led by NU professor Emma Alexander, her research team adapted a computer vision algorithm to sharpen the photos from the blur, which is caused by the atmosphere's shifting pockets of air.
The Northwestern Marriage Pact, a fun survey that has students answer questions and pairs them together as friends or a relationship, or neither, depending on how it goes, released the results of its survey questions. NNN's resident statistician, Max Rothfeder, is here to break them down. Max?
Yeah, so we're going to start here with our political affiliation. So about 4,700 students answered, and of those we can see, there was a bit of a trend, a bit of a U with respect to Democrats. Independents, we saw a 3-year increase, while amongst the socialists, we saw them actually fall over the past 3 years. Now, overall, Northwestern, of the 4,700, 61.5% of them said they were Democrats. That's compared to 42% nationally. And I went ahead and did a statistical analysis on this and wrote a 99% confidence interval for those 4,700 students. We can see here with 99% confidence, we can say that Northwestern is more liberal than the United States of America. Now, with respect to majors, smartest self-reported, I don't think this is going to surprise anyone. We got all the engineers, material science, computer, mathematics, MSS. Now, Machiavellian, those are the, quote, ruthless or competitive majors. Economics, industrial engineering are numbers 1 and 2. Those are my 2 majors, but I promise I'm a nice guy. Well, that's all the time I have. Back to y'all at the desk.
Well, incredible information there, Max. NNN did reach out to the Marriage Pact team on the data collection process. We did not hear back. You know, Bridget, he says all the engineering majors are the smartest, but I would, you know, kind of dispute him there a little bit. I think journalists are pretty smart, too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Logan, you were just reporting on Capitol Hill. Like, we've got to give you props for that as well.
Thank you. Well, I mean, thanks so much. That's all the time we have here tonight. I'm Logan Schijano.
And I'm Bridget Adu-Wadier. Thanks so much for watching and have a good night.